Good morning. It's here. 444. Uh, when I came to the computer this morning around 4 o'clock, after coming out of the meditation room and having a very peaceful time in the meditation room, I really had no clue what I was going to talk about today. And after looking at several of my emails, the thought came, just talk simply from the heart. So that's what I entitled it. And then a little while after that, I wrote a blurb. I really do not have a predominant theme today. It's not that there's nothing going on. It's just that I am at peace with all of it. Oh, that's not to say I think everything is bright and cheery. On the contrary, much seems to be collapsing as I look out at the world. However, as I look within, I know that I am a child of God and that I am loved, no matter what. That, not what's happening, is my source of peace even in the storms. That treasure is available for everyone for the asking and receiving. It was a curious phenomenon to me that after I wrote that blurb, my monkey mind started chattering and I started seeing images, if you will, in my mental pictures of things that I know are going on in the world. And most of the pictures that I was seeing were not pictures of peace and tranquility. But I'm learning. I haven't completely mastered it yet, but I am learning to place less significance, let's put it this way, to place less significance on the things that are troubling and more significance on the things I know to be true. I didn't arrive at this place of tranquility without going through a lot of trials and testing, a lot of anguish and apparent suffering because I resisted what was happening and was unable to accept it. I'm learning to accept that no matter what comes to me, something positive will come out of that, even if I label it negative initially. Let me find that. There was a thread. Let me see if I can go back and find that. I hope. Yes. My friend Fred posted on one of the groups that I am in a quote by Jim Morrison. Expose yourself to your deepest fear. After that, fear has no power, and the fear of freedom shrinks and vanishes. You are free. Now, for those of you that don't know who Jim Morrison is, Jim Morrison was, I believe, the lead singer in a group called The Doors. And he comes from Melbourne, Florida, the same town that I'm in. In fact, I know a house where he used to live. And one of my other friends commented in that link, my system exactly, which is labeled by some as negative, along with the warning that my thoughts are things and exposing myself to my worst fear will actually cause it to happen. And I wrote back, I too have been accused of being negative by facing my shadow and allowing my feelings just to be without seeing them as negative or positive. The truth of the matter is, I do see them as negative and positive, but I've learned that the negative ones have a gift. They come bearing gifts. If I simply allow it to be and I go into the fear, I go into the anger. I go into whatever the quote negative emotion is. If I'm still with it and allow it to be, within that comes a peacefulness. And even with all the legal issues that I've faced over the past 7+ years, and the expanded legal issues that I'm facing this year, as I look back over the entire scenario of that, I'm seeing that always, always, even when I was totally discombobulated and not knowing what to do, an answer would come. A person would come with just what I needed at that moment, and the universe would provide me the next step. Not several steps ahead. Wouldn't give me the final result, but would give me the next step that I needed to take. And it has worked like clockwork, time and again. The next step in the process would come to me, and I would receive it. Now, of course, I've also been trained to look for the treasure in the shadow, or in the darkness. I've been trained to look at it. When I say trained, there's that notion, that awareness within me that there is treasure in the darkness, that the diamonds are buried deep within. And the subconscious has power in it, power to create our reality. And when you make the subconscious conscious, ooh, great things happen. Because you're allowing the treasure to come forth. You're not suppressing it and pushing it down and denying it and pretending it's not there. You're acknowledging the truth of your experience. Get that. You're not calling it an illusion. You're experiencing it. It's not an illusion. It's an experience. I've been trying to tell people that for a long time, and some people get it and some people don't yet, and that's okay. Everybody's where they're supposed to be in their process. And life has a way when people don't listen, and I've seen that myself, that it can hit you with a pretty good 2x4 in the back of the head, or it can light a blowtorch and put it on your butt to get you to feel and acknowledge what is, and to stop fighting. So I speak to you simply from my heart. Because folks, no matter what the world looks like right now, no matter how much of the world system seems to be falling apart, no matter how much it seems like those that want to destroy things are winning, that's not the reality of what's happening. The divine plan is unfolding as it has been planned from the beginning. The one that created all of us knows the end from the beginning and gave us each enough rope to hang ourselves several times if necessary, allowing us to experience what we needed to experience so that we would finally learn that love is the only way home from our adventures into the land of illusion, the land of delusion, the land of fear and anger and war and suffering. Yes, we've created quite a trip, quite a journey. Our script, our never-ending script is amazing. We've written this play, and we've starred in starring roles and in supporting roles, and every one of us plays roles. Every one of us dances the dance, whether we know it or not. And sometimes the dance is done with swords and sometimes other weapons. But the soul goes on, imperishable, because it's eternal, because it's part of the Creator, part of life itself, and the tapestry of that life. And it has been woven sometimes with quite horrific scenes. And yet, if you could only see it from the higher perspective and from that inner peace that's within all of us, if you'll look for it, it's there. If you could see from that perspective and that place, in the eternal now, you'd know that even the horrific scenes can be transformed into visions of beauty. Oh, I know how painful it is to have to go through the anguish of disease, the anguish of breaking up of relationships and of challenges in relationships with family, with business partners, with friends. I get it. Oh man, that's our drama, folks. I get it. I see it. It's not that I don't see it, but I know that this is all part of the script that we have written together, and that this is a comedy. It's been a tragedy sometimes, apparently, if you stopped it at a certain point, when Atlantis fell, or when Lemuria went underground, or whatever. There seem to have been in our history great catastrophic events that destroyed everything that was, almost, with only a remnant being saved. But the ultimate design has always been to come out winners, to come out remembering, to come out knowing that we are always loved. Because that is the nature of the universe. Love makes us safe, even in the storm. Love brings us the next step in our journey. We've designed it that way, and it can't work any other way. Oh, we can resist for a long time, and we do. I've done it, you've done it, we've all done it. But ultimately, we learn that love will give us the next step. And that's all we ever need on this journey, is the next step. The next thing that we need to do. And we first know it, but then we must do it. It's usually an action step, something that we need to study, something that we need to make an effort towards. Or sometimes it's just surrendering and saying, okay, I'm not going to fight anymore. I'm not going to fight anymore. I'm going to trust instead. I'm going to trust God. I'm going to trust Spirit. I'm going to trust life. I'm going to trust the cosmos, the universe. I'm going to trust instead of fight. And where that trust comes from, where that faith comes from, it comes from grace. Grace that we have given ourselves as a gift from God. Oh yes, God gives it to us. But as I said, it's for the asking and receiving. We've required ourselves to accept it. And then when we accept it, we realize we've given ourselves the gift of acceptance. God couldn't make us do that because he allowed us to experience what it's like to reject the gift. And we've all rejected it at times. But we're learning to accept it. I'm learning to accept it. Yeah, the monkey mind can chatter and tell us everything that's wrong. But yet there's still that secret place of the Most High that's inside of us. It's inside of each one of our souls, our heart, that beats with the eternal flame of truth and freedom. And that's where we're going, folks. No matter what it looks like, that's the destination. And from the eternal perspective, every one of us gets there. From the temporal perspective, it looks like we don't all get there at the same time. And that's probably true, but who knows what great miracle we have co-created that's coming into manifestation that changes everything. That's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'm in anticipation of. I'm trusting that much of it will happen this year, 2012. I know it won't finish this year. I know that. But much will be accomplished this year as the light shines ever more brightly in the darkness. And we see the shadows cast by that light and by the attempts to block it that produces the shadows. But in the shadows, in the darkness, there are gifts. That's the message from my heart to yours today. Thank you for letting me love you, for letting me speak from my heart to yours. Be in peace. Find that place within yourself. Namaste.